Welcome to United Shades of Gray, Conversations of Race in America on WSGW. Now, here is your host, Kareem Bowen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of United Shades of Gray, Conversations of Race in America. I am so pleased to be with you on today. We've got a very interesting show in store for you on this evening. I'm in the studio sitting here pinch hitting for John B. in the place to be is my producer. He produces for me on another show. And I refer to him as Matt, a.k.a. White Soul. What's good, Matt?
What up, though?
What up, though? So we're glad to have you with us on today. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about business and chambers and preparation and future. And I'm excited to have these conversations as we continue to talk about how we can be impactful in the world that's around us. But, I also want to talk about what's hot off the press before we get into the meat of the conversation that we'll have for today. And I was just looking at a variety of different things. And so one of the things that is hot off the press that I really want to talk about here in the city of Saginaw, and for those that are listening out there at WSGW 100.5 and 790 AM, we certainly thank you for your listenership. And those that are down in Joliet, Illinois, at WJOL, welcome to the conversation. And I know that you all will be able to really tap in and relate to the conversation that we'll have when we get into it. But I know that everybody is talking politics, what's going on. That is the buzzword, politics. And I never consider myself a political person. However, I try to be abreast of what's going on in politics so that we can continually provide education and what's happening in for the community and those that are around us. I want to thank you, those of you that are coming into the social media stream. Let's like, tag, and share this conversation. For those of you who are going to listen to this and its rerun on our social media platforms, we're out there: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Go out there, like, tag, and share these conversations with the people in your community. But so politics are on the forefront. We are looking at what seems to be a statistical dead heat as it relates to who is going to take the place of our current president, Joe Biden, for 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Interesting thing is I had it some time just recently. I spent some time in Washington, D.C., and I was spending some time at the Capitol and other buildings in the area. And it's always interesting to me how the world can be totally tuned in and think nothing but politics, and you go to DC and they're taking care of business, no political signs, and one of them, because it's the District of Columbia, much of what happens in that area and their votes and things of that nature have a very different measurement in terms of how things impact who gets into office. So they don't get so bent out of shape like the rest of the world does about politics. And it was actually refreshing. I didn't have to worry about Biden and Kamala and all of these different things that were going on. But returning back to the great Midwest, to the great state of Michigan, as soon as we were getting off, we were bombarded by the signs. There was a song that was way back in the day. I don't remember who wrote the songs. I want to say like Guns N' Roses or somebody like that. But the name of the song was Signs. Signs, everywhere the signs, breaking up the scenery, breaking my mind. And so I began to think about that. But I want to say to all of you that are out there, as we have said before, and we've had these conversations, don't allow the political nature and the atmosphere to really interfere with the relationships that you have. Be willing to set some boundaries, be smart, be willing to understand that relationships and the things that you formatted and have bonded around that make you closer are much bigger than the things that divide us. And every year during political season, or I shouldn't say every year, every 4 years, especially since 2016, many of my friends and we've decided, hey, we're not going to have conversations around politics because we're not going to agree. Now, I'm the type of person, because as you know, I am the middle of the road guy. I consider myself a conservative all the way, but I am very liberal in some of my thoughts in terms of how we take care of those citizens in our country. I do have guns, and I believe that there should be common sense gun legislation. So I am really an independent. But as I've said before, one of the key things that is very important that I would love to see restored in this nation, and this is not about politics, this is about who we are as a nation, that we get back to what is important, and that we come together. I want a government that works together. But I also believe that our leadership matters. Leadership should matter. I think that who we put in the office should be able to be someone that we can respect ourselves and that will command the respect around the world. However, you see that respect, let it be someone that your children can look up to, that your children have the ability to say, hey, I want to be like that person. For so many years before this, and even with the fall of some politicians and things of that nature, that has always been what I consider, or what I always believe to be true, one of the core values in terms of our leadership selection. And we're not just electing a president and a vice president, we're electing and determining who our leaders are that will push us into the future. So how they fare nationally, how they fare locally, how they see the world, their global view, all of those things are important. So as you begin, and because those ballots are going out, they're hitting doors and locations, mailboxes near you, and it's going to be an interesting time. Let's continue to think we want to vote the issues that impact us. I always think that it makes sense to vote the issues that impact you most, but also make sure that as we vote those issues, that we're voting in people that we can be proud of to see represent us on a global and a world stage. All right, now, since we've got the political jargon out of the way, I want us to get right into the thing of things. Well, I also want to say shout out to everybody out there who has returned to school. Here in the Saginaw community, we have had an amazing start to the school year. We've had a show before. We talked about, how do you merge schools together with populations shifting and making differences and changes and things. There has been a need, especially in many cities across the country, for consolidations of schools. And so, just like other cities have been, the city of Saginaw, and I know cities around the city of Chicago, for those who are listening in that Chicago market, you guys are no strangers to the fact that there are a number of schools that are laying open, unused. And so there is a need to consolidate resources. And many people feel certain ways about that. But I'm going to tell you about this consolatory effort that has happened in Saginaw. I think that it is providing our students with the opportunity for access and opportunity to things that have been taken away. Not very many people are out there being Tiger Woods on the golf course, but when you don't have access to golfing as an extracurricular activity or sport, then you lose access, you lose opportunity. And so it's great to be able to see some of these things take place. Shout out to all of those that are coming in. And it is an effort. So there's certain things that happen that people get caught in the shift. And there was a real situation that took place here. But I think that as we begin to navigate and we manage these tough, turbulent waters, the city of Saginaw, as the city of Joliet and Illinois and all of these other cities, Detroit and everywhere else, we are resilient. Our children are absolutely amazing. And it's the thing that I love about it is that as our children continue to strive and we challenge them, that they will show us that they're able to do much more than what we thought that they were capable of. So I'm excited about that. I was watching a video and the kids, they put a picture on a social media platform where they showed two kids laying in front of the school. At first I was like, oh my God, what is this? But then I read the caption. They were like, we love our new school so much, we're just going to sleep here until tomorrow. That is the kind of inspiration that you want your children to feel, to be a part of. And it is absolutely amazing to see that caption. And so great job to the city of Saginaw. It is really a Saginaw community thing that is happening there. And I'm so proud of it. I'm going to jump right into our conversation because the man that is here on today, he is not just someone who is a mover and a shaker. He's someone that I consider a friend. He's someone that is a little bit younger, not too much younger, but just a little bit younger than I am. But I've always had a great deal of respect for him. He has always been a consummate gentleman, a professional, a star athlete, a standout, a great part of this city of Saginaw's history as it relates to the legacy, both on the court in terms of his athletic prowess, but also in terms of the legacy that his family. I call his dad. I have donned him Saginaw's own G.I. Joe. And when he said that G.I. Joe, I said, yes, greatest American hero. And the reason I say that is for those of you who know a little bit about my story, you know that as a young man, my plan was to go to medical school and to do that. And I completed, got accepted. And while in school, I decided this is not what I want to do with the rest of my life. And so I walked away. And so after walking away and spending 20 years, just shy of 20 years in sports and entertainment, a part of me always says, what if I went back to law school? Or what if I went back to med school? And then here comes this gentleman that has this amazing story, Mr. Eugene Seals, of how at 40 plus years of age, he said, hey, I'm not too young, too old to see my dreams realized. He dusted them off the shelf and he went back to school, completing medical school, practicing as a physician, inspiring his children to do great things. And so I want to present one of the offspring of the clan, and his name is Eugene Fuki, aka Fuki Seals. He is now the new executive over at the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Mr. Seals. We welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Man, I am so excited to be here with you. And we're gonna start with yesterday, but then I want to go back and talk a little bit about your journey on yesterday. For those of you who are listening, Juanita Bobo down there in Lansing, we certainly thank you for tuning in. Finally caught a live session, Mr. Golden Voice. Oh, that's my new nickname, I guess.
I like that,
Mr. Golden Voice. But I'm not gonna let this guy come because he's got a good voice as well. But yesterday, let's talk about this. And this is about inspiration, and this is about in 2020 with the cries for social justice after George Floyd, there was a really strong cry for social reform and social justice and things of that nature. And many companies around the world were doing something called DEI and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And what they were doing was saying, hey, we need to have more inclusive bodies in our governing process. Mm-hmm. That has then been hit with this new MEI, which is the anti-DEI, a push away from it. We saw the fall of affirmative action, which we've talked about those statistics before, that, white women were the greatest benefactors of the affirmative action movement. We see now this MEI, which is merit, excellence, and I can't remember what the I is, but anyways, it is the anti-movement, that we should have great merit, excellence, and we should have this improving quality that should be the reason why we are moving forward. And I agree with all of those things, but I think that those things also are seen in DEI. So with that change, there's a lot of changes that are taking place. People are understanding that when we have a diverse workspace, we have great ideas, the best ideas in the room. And so there was some talk in our county about a changing of the guard as it related to our chamber. And I heard your name come up, Mr. Seals, a number of times. And I was like, I don't know if our community is ready for this. And just as I say, are we ready to elect a woman president? And it's not about our blackness. We've been a black president. Are we ready to move past gender bias and really elect a woman president? And so those are the questions that often fill my mind. And so he has been donned, and he's been doing this work for a while. The executor, he is the head man over at the Saginaw Chamber of Commerce, Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce. And that is important. The county is very important. Yes. And so, Eugene, I want to say, how are you feeling in this moment? I had to do all that talking just to get us to where I want to go in terms of our conversation. How are you feeling?
I feel great. The best thing about it is you kind of feel that you were made for this.
Okay.
People say I'm built for this, and You hear this a lot when you talk about sports, but I would say that I was built for this. With my parents in the field of medicine, my mom being a former mayor, and all of the different things she did with the state
And
of
education.
Michigan in education. What it did is just it gave me the experience that I need. It gave me the ability to be comfortable in certain arenas, and to know that I was enough when I saw the representation, starting with my parents and then some of those that they were around.
Man, okay. So yesterday, you have actually been in this position for how long?
2 months.
So for 2 months, but the chamber takes a little hiatus.
Yes.
And so September was the first percolator meeting that you had coming back. And for those who don't understand, who are not from this area, it's when all the businesses come. It's kind of like a pep talk. We're
Yes.
gonna give a pep talk to the businesses. We're gonna say, "Hey, team, let's go. These are the changes to how we do business. These are the things that are important. These are the things that we're advocating for. Let's highlight some business. Let's go out there and do great business, Saginaw County."
Basically.
That's how I would say it. Okay, in sports analogy, so you become the biggest coach in the room,
Yes.
which I think is amazing. So, what was so amazing about this? So, this is really your first official. I shouldn't say first official, but this is where you're actually placed before the audience. Was it Seth Pergo, the director of the board?
He's the chairman of our board and the CEO, president
Yeah.
of Huntington.
Okay, so he comes in, and you guys were masterful in your. He did an amazing job.
He did.
Being an individual who interviews all the time, he did an amazing job of making a fireside chat an opportunity for people to come in and get to know you. I was so intrigued and so excited by how you handled yourself. Were you nervous in the moment? I mean, because this is the big reveal. This is what we bought in for. Second, here's our guy. Were you nervous in that moment?
Not at all. Not at all. I feel like I've been doing the job longer than I have. And again, I am very comfortable in the position that I've taken on. And so this was just me talking to a friend.
And that's what it looked like. Now, I want to ask you this question because I think this is so important. I think that leaders have to have a vision for whatever it is that they're leading. You are now the face of new business, current business, uh, wavering and ushering a new wave of business coming into the city of Saginaw, Saginaw County, excuse me. What is your vision for this county? I know that as an athlete, your vision was to get to the championship. The MVP out there is important. What is your vision for the city, for the county of Saginaw?
For the county, it's really very similar to that of sports. Just taking it to the next level. We have some great businesses. We have great manufacturers that are in the area, and the goal is to get more. Whenever I coach basketball, the kids always say, "Coach, what do you want from me?" My answer is always more. More. And so what I want from the businesses is growth. I want more for them. I want more for our community, as far as, when you get the big business, it builds the entire community. But also when you get the small mom and pops, it also builds the overall community. And so what I want for the county of Saginaw is more inclusion, more different styles and types of businesses, and more different sizes of businesses. So the easy answer is just more.
Well, one of the things that you were sharing, and I get so excited. We had a private conversation about this. Is when you talk about the lessons that we've learned, and I have been a proponent. I think that the Memorial Cup was an opportunity. It was a pilot, if you would,
Yes.
of what the community was capable of doing, of what our county could do. And with that, you've taken that and you said, listen, if we can do this, we can do that. Let's talk about some of the innovative things and thinking outside the box of things that you believe that the county is able to manage, and you're hoping that we're able to also host.
Absolutely. So with the Memorial Cup, it showed that we are able to house large and larger style events. And what it got me thinking about was basketball. Um, how can we bring in the NCAA or the MHSAA, our Michigan governing body for high school sports, or the governing body for college sports? How can we bring them here? We've just done this for hockey.
Yeah.
And now, if we can do this for hockey, that means we can do it for basketball as well. And so we also are, because of this conversation, we're going to start talking to the Loons about doing a baseball style tournament as well to do the same thing. And so we're excited. This is exciting.
Let me tell you what excites me about that vision. You know this very well, is that sports is not an entity that is by itself,
No.
but we say sports and entertainment. So for 18, 19 years, I worked in sports and entertainment. So when you talk about bringing in these types of tournament games, these bigger games, we are also talking about bringing the attention of
Yes.
entertainment to this lost jewel. I think Saginaw is a jewel, a diamond in the rough, so to speak. And how you share your story about bringing Saginaw to a world stage, it excites me.
Yes.
Because it is inventive, and it is it's exciting because it's different than what we've seen. How do you think, or how do you see Saginaw differently? Not that, and great job to those who were before. There's so many things that you're inheriting that are going to be amazing because of those who your predecessors. But how do you see Saginaw differently than others may see? And what are the hidden nuggets that you see our community provides that maybe we need to tap into?
One of the biggest things is our again, our ability to house these big events, but we have a huge base of small businesses in our area. So how can we highlight small business? The other thing is growth. We're the chamber. We're right over 900, right under 1,000 members of the chamber. There's 4,500 businesses in our county.
Wow.
So you talk about saturation, and what can we do to grow that connection? That also helps us when we talk to Lansing, and it helps us when we talk on the federal level of making sure that decisions aren't made that'll hurt us as a business. So we're doing a lot of different things. We're working with the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance to make it a more regional approach to business and how we can help more, not only in Saginaw County, but even beyond. And so there's a lot of opportunities for us business wise that will really help us really grow.
You said something that I thought was so interesting. You said that, hey, I always tell people that if you've gone to your chamber of commerce, you've been to one chamber.
Yes.
Explain what you mean by that.
So every chamber is different, and so the biggest thing is understanding that our chamber is not the same as another chamber. So that's, you've been to one. If you've gone to one chamber, you've seen one chamber.
So so your idea is that we're going to tailor many of the things that we do. We have to tailor it to the community in which we live.
Correct.
What are some of the things that are unique about Saginaw? Just give me 2 or 3 things that are unique about Saginaw that we need to keep in mind.
Our diversity is huge, and it makes us a little different from other areas. And then our ability to work across the board, so small with large, white with black, and things like that. So I believe that makes us something different from what you see in other local areas.
All right, we're going to continue this conversation with Mr. Seals, Mr. President. When we return, I want you guys to stay. Don't go away. We'll be back with more United Shades of Gray.
You're listening to United Shades of Gray on WSGW.
This is Kareem, and we're back with more United Shades of Gray, conversations of race in America. I am here with President of Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce, Eugene, a.k.a. Fuki Seals. And I said that because this came up in a conversation most recently. So I want to just kind of talk a little bit about the man, Eugene Fuki. Let's talk about Fuki, because that kind of takes us all the way back. People who know you as Fuki, they'll relate it to basketball or knowing you from around the neighborhood. But you were giving an explanation of how you got that name. I thought it was funny. But let's share a little bit how you get that nickname Fuki.
You know, it really wasn't supposed to stick this long, but my mom listened to a song called Sugar Pie Honey Bunch, and I'm not really sure how that correlated with Fuki Fi Honey Bunch, but that's what she called me, and it kind of evolved into just Fuki, and it wasn't, again, supposed to stick. But now there are some people who only know me as Fuki, and when they say Eugene, they're like, "Who?
Who's that?
Eugene who?" So yeah, that was the name. It was a nickname. I still ask her from this day, "How do you get Fuki Fi out of sugar pie?" But that's what she came up with.
Fuki Fi Honey Bunch. All right. Well, you know, I love you. I love your parents, your family. They are icons in this community, and they've done amazing work, not only in this community but throughout the state. To go back to Fuki, when you think about your family, because you did something yesterday that I thought was really powerful and bold. At the beginning of your talk, you say, "Hey, let me stop and give credit." Our audience loves us to talk about faith, and to be able to incorporate your faith into your life, and to be able to be bold about that faith, coming from a family of pastors and singers. That's what it is. His mom they're all singers. So Fuki, they're probably making songs up. But looking at where you come from, the legacy of faith, the legacy of prayer, the legacy of trusting God, how does your faith and your family play into who you are today?
I can tell you that I wouldn't be here without faith, or without my family teaching me about faith. What has happened is it's taught me that, you know, the life that I live is not about me. And so I think of community, I think of giving back, I think of all those things because of my faith. My life is to glorify God, and I hope that everything that I do is in some way glorifying God. And so I don't work per se for the company that I work for. I work in all things to give glory to God. And so hopefully everything that I do shows that in the level of effort that I give towards it. And I did the same thing when I played sports. I never felt that I was the best player, and I was good, and I knew that I was good. I never felt that I was the best, but it didn't matter to me because I was playing to give honor to God.
You know, I love to hear you say that, and I've always said, since I've really become like cemented in who I am in my faith, I've always said that I would never go somewhere where I could not bring my whole self to that arena.
Right.
And my faith is so vitally important. And you said it yourself. You said, I may never have been the best, but I've been graced to do what I do.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, like, you're graced to do what you do. When you think about Saginaw and you look at, and if we were to look back over the past, 4 decades, 40 years ago, with General Motors, losing General Motors, it was such a powerful placement in our community. Losing that, seeing a decline, really trying to pull and hold on to what we could as your life. There is a decline in the population. We were about 100 and some thousand. We are now just under 50.
Yes.
What do you see are some of the things that may be challenges to what your big vision is for the city and the county of Saginaw?
And when you're thinking about a challenge of growth,
Yeah.
a challenge of sole proprietor and small business. Do you have the clientele? Do you have the ability to even run your business in this area? Some people have big dreams and great plans, and the truth is can we sustain that business? And so that in itself was the biggest challenge. Going from 100,000 to 50 in itself can close hundreds of businesses, if not thousands of businesses. And so it's a challenge. It's something that we are very eager to assist in growing the population. That's one of our big pushes right now is to attract talent here
Yeah.
with jobs and business, but also to retain talent. We have how many schools? 3, 4 schools in our within an hour from here, and we need to figure out a way to attract that talent and to keep that talent here once they graduate from those schools. So, how do we do that? We create jobs, we create businesses that are in line with what they're learning at the schools, or we help the schools create a pathway for the type of businesses that we have them create a pathway that goes along with the type of businesses that are already here.
Okay, one of the things that you guys need to know about this guy is that this Mr. Seals is sold out. Not only the guy, but he's sold out to young people and his commitment to young people. I remember, I'm not sure if you were, yeah, you were in your position. You were just in your position. And I reached out to him and was like, yo, I need someone to come over here and talk to these kids about entrepreneurship. And some of them are interested in businesses. He's like, okay, I'll come. I'm like, okay, so what's the? He's like, no, I'm just gonna come. I'm gonna come and do this. And not only did you spend one day with us with a leadership lesson talk, but you came another day and spent the entire day speaking with these young people, talking to them about the importance of entrepreneurship, sharing with them keys on how to set up businesses and things that were important, challenging them, and then providing a way for them to continually connect. In addition to that, you invited them up at one point to come to the offices over at the chamber,
Absolutely.
and you sat them in the boardroom and you shared your story of both failure and success. I think those are important. We talk about the success stories, but we learn more in our failures
Mhm.
oftentimes than we do in our success. And you really connected with those young people. What does it mean to you to make those types of investments, and why is it so important that you make them a part of your process as you lead in this new leadership level?
I really feel that you've done nothing in your life if you don't have and you don't take the time to give back. It's my accomplishments shouldn't die when I die.
Absolutely.
My the things that I know and the things that I've done shouldn't stop when I'm no longer here. What I want to do is I want to create 100 me's out there. Create 1,000 me's who will then create 1,000 more. And so if everyone will go out and be the best me that I can be, then this place will be such a better place. And so I'm not in competition with anyone but myself. I would love to work with any and everyone. I'm not naive though,
Okay.
so I understand how things work, but I want to give back to these kids because if I can reach 1, 2, 3 kids every time I talk to someone, then I know that the impact will be even greater because maybe one of them will come back and reach a couple more.
I want to give you. I want to open the door to you, give you access to. No, but at Saginaw Valley State University, we have talk about talent retention. I work with those students. I've been out there probably for about 12 years, and we realize that not that Saginaw Valley does not do professional development, because they do. They have those resources. And before, it used to be Michael Majors. Michael Majors and I worked so well together with him and finding careers and all of those things. There's someone new I haven't had the opportunity to meet, but we work with many of those students who are coming in, and it's because of fear. Many of the students, in case you don't know it, a lot of the African American population, international population, are coming from Detroit and from Florida and from the west side of the state, and they come into the community, and so they're afraid. And you know what happens when we get afraid? We stop asking questions, we stick into a bubble. But I meet with about anywhere on a regular basis, anywhere from 85 to 125 students. And we work with them from their freshman year through the time that they're graduating. And many of those students are looking for opportunities. They want to stay in the city of Saginaw, but don't know how to get to the resources, the job opportunities. You talked about a pipeline. I would love to open the door and invite you in to that space of, it's our 4-year college that we have here in our community for you to come in. And I know you have your YPs, which I thought was a very cool. Are you a YP? And young professionals, but giving them the opportunity to come in and to share opportunities and stories and how they can get in, and maybe even training opportunities for that. And I know that you probably have been in conversations with Dr. Grant and Dr. Gavin and all those individuals, but what do you say to those transplants who desire to stay here, that say, hey, we can't find jobs that we want here in the city of Saginaw?
What I would tell them is to look at not only the chamber, but we have Saginaw Future. We have a couple different organizations who put out information all the time on opportunities that are available to recent grads and future grads. We're working with Delta College right now on an intern program, co-op, and there's a couple other programs that we're working with Delta. We're trying to get it put into the books where there's a partnership with the chamber and Delta College. We already have some partnerships with Saginaw Valley, but we hadn't been doing as much with Delta. And so again, these colleges, they have the students, they're educating them, and then they're leaving our area.
Yeah.
And so what I want is our local colleges to educate them and then have them stay.
That's very important.
So that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're working on now.
Shout out to our presidents out there, Dr. Grant, who kind of both of them have hit the ground running. But Dr. Gavin, man, Dr. Gavin, I love you. Shout out to Dr. Gavin. If you work for Delta, raise your hands up. No, just joking. But Dr. Gavin has been just very transformational in terms of the way he thinks. And I'm sure that does not come with its own challenges, but to see a partnership growing there is something that I think is super phenomenal. All right, now something that people wanted me to ask you about, Mr. Fuki Seals, Mr. Basketball, and he's in all of the history books. If you guys get a chance, David, what's his last name? Slaggert. Dave Slaggert, former coach of Arthur High School, put together. It's kind of like the best of Saginaw history. Of Saginaw sports and the best athletes that are out there. You have a number of pictures that are in this book. And so many of those people say, okay, so now that we're here and we got a guy who loves sports, what does it look like us bringing back something like a Gus Macker? I don't know. I'm sure you've probably been hit with that. What's the issues? What are some of the issues? I know that before, I remember being in the Gus Macker, playing in Gus Macker, and sometimes we ruin some of the things that we have opportunities and access to, but we've been showing, hey, we're on our best behavior. Is that something that may be in ahead of the road, somewhere along the road that we're moving ahead?
The Gus Macker is actually something that we have already started looking into. We can't say we're planning yet because that's not 100% true.
Absolutely.
We've talked to I call him Gus. That's not his name.
I know who you're talking
about. But I call him Gus. He runs
Mr. Macker.
Yes, he runs all of the Mackers. And so I call him Gus. But I've talked to Gus, and he's interested in bringing it back to Saginaw. We do have one in Flint. There is one in Midland. And he really likes the Midland Gus Macker. And so we're working on something right now to bring it back to Saginaw. We do have to show declines in crime. We do have to show some things for him to be okay with it. But if you can do it in Flint and you can do it in Midland, you can do it in Saginaw.
I'm not going to hit no counties up, but if you can do it in certain places that he just mentioned, you can do it in Saginaw.
Yes.
But this means, and let's talk about the community approach to getting business to come in. You're the guy that's at the helm, but how important is it, the role that the community plays in helping to usher in these individuals? We have here in the city of Saginaw a tax cap that's been there for 40 years. It is probably the nation's oldest. All of these things become a part of how you're able to plan, lure people in, lure businesses in. Let's talk about how the community can support you in your new role as the face of business for the county of Saginaw.
I can tell you right now, community support, number one, is the biggest thing. So if we have national leaders in business, chains that are coming in, obviously you want to support them because we want bigger ones to come.
Absolutely.
And we want more of them to come. But you also need to support the mom and pop as well. You can't leave the mom and pop off of your late night dinner options.
They're the ones that really help the community continue and move forward.
They're from here. They want to be here. The chains do too, but you need to kind of do both. The other thing is you're talking safety. People have this misconception about Saginaw that it is just so dangerous, and that we're just so much more dangerous than other areas. I can tell you there used to be lists that would be in national lists that would list Saginaw. You no longer see Saginaw on those lists anymore. And so changing the perception, the community has to change the perception. When you hear people talking negatively about the county of Saginaw, you need to set people straight.
Words have power.
Yes.
Yeah. And so getting to that narrative means getting to that new look means changing the narrative.
Change the narrative.
Okay. So let's talk about the nuts and bolts. How does an individual become a member of the chamber? Because a lot of our listeners don't really know. They just figure, there's certain businesses. How do you become a member of the chamber? And then what is it that membership provides an individual, and why should people get involved?
There's two ways to join the chamber. We've tried to make it as easy and as seamless as possible, but you can visit www.saginawchamber.org. And if you're on a computer, the top right corner will say home, join, and log in. And you just click the join button and you'll see a picture of me right now, even though that's not my position anymore. You'll see a picture of me and it'll say join online or download the application. And those are the two ways. You can join online, fill out the information. It's going to ask you questions about your business. You can join right there. Or you can download the application, print it off, and come up to the office, and we can help you complete it and fill it out. I can tell everyone I don't like surprises, and so I'm one of those integrity people. I don't like surprises. There is a $25 admin fee on there. So when you go to fill out, you're going to be told a price. There's going to be a $25 admin fee. There's no way around it. Just pay the admin fee. You're in. I don't like surprises, so I want to tell people up front.
Okay, and then is there a yearly due amount? How does that work? So we pay $25 as an admin fee for acceptance into the chamber. Once we do that,
yes.
Other fees that might be associated.
Annual dues are decided upon based on your industry. Okay. So you and I could come in with two different businesses. We're going to pay two different amounts depending on what type of business we have.
Okay.
So if it's a restaurant business, there's a set fee plus so much per chair.
Okay.
If it's a hotel, it's per bed. There's a set fee, then so much per bed. If it's just a regular retail business, it's the number of employees. So each business is set up different. We have a flat rate of $417 is the smallest that you're going to get. But it goes up, and that's an annual fee. So there's no monthly fee.
So why should someone, I'm going to use this word, make that investment for their business?
And that's exactly what we call it, as an investment. So if you are interested in growing your business, the chamber is the place where you want to be. We give you opportunities to network. For instance, our perk breakfast is once a month, except for the summer months, July and August. But we go once a month for 10 months, and we have 300 of the county's businesses in the same room networking with each other. We'll even take 10 minutes in the middle of the program for you to get up and pass out cards. For those people who have businesses that you're looking to grow, there's no better place to be than in a perk breakfast or our business after hours. Those are our two free events every month. And we have those every month. We offer opportunities. Business after hours is from 5 to 7, just for businesses to network. 100% networking, no programming. You come in from 5 to 7, you network with other businesses, you pass out cards, you talk about what you do and what you sell, whatever it is. You talk about your business to other businesses.
And you guys have you have fun as well. So
It's a
you're
lot of
talking about
fun.
these things. I know that your young professionals were talking about their Halloween
Yes.
gathering. All of this stuff is on your website.
If you go to our website again, www.saginawchamber.org, we have an events calendar. Inside of that events calendar, if anything costs, it will explain it to you. If anything has different times or different locations, all of that information will be there, but it's under chamber events, under our events tab.
All right, let's talk resources really. We only have a few minutes left, but what are some of the resources in addition to these functions and bringing businesses together? What are some of those other resources that are very important that businesses have available to them as a part of them being a member of the chamber?
We have access to state resources, federal resources, granting. There are so many options that we have. We don't have time to go over all of the different things that we could do for a business, but I can tell you, if you have questions, definitely feel free to give us a call at our number. Again, you go to our website, all of our information is there. But you could give us a call. If you're looking to grow your business, you're looking to get grants, you're looking to have your business listed as a Black-owned business, or a woman-owned business, or a male-owned business, we can help you with all of that. We have the connections for people who want to start businesses. We can get you started, get you connected with some of our partners, and they'll run you through a business plan even before you spend a dollar. You can go get a business plan done to see if this is really feasible. And if it is feasible, now you know exactly what you need to do to get started.
I love that part of that aspect because we're giving information and education. I want to ask this question. It's a bit subjective, but I want to hear your answer. There are a number of candidates, and listening to Mr. Perigo talk about, the challenge of all of these great people. In your mind, what made you the best individual for this job?
I can tell you that, it wasn't a DEI hire.
Say that again.
I can tell you it was not a DEI hire. I was the best candidate for the position because I knew the position. I knew the chamber. I know the area, and what we need to do next. I was best suited to get us to the next level.
And what are one of those things that we need to do to get to the next level?
Basically, just us preparing ourselves for all of the changes that are going to happen in these next couple of years, but getting our businesses in order, making sure that we're ready for the new change that's going to happen in February with the tip credit and the new minimum wage. There's a lot of things coming up here legislatively that we need to be ready for, and the chamber is going to make sure that every business is prepared.
Well, I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I loved is that oftentimes people focus on population centers. And what you said, that one of the first things that you were planning to do was not worry about what's happening here in the city of the center,
the entire county,
but you were going out to the fringes, Chesning, and these other areas to find out what was needed. I want to thank you guys for continually tuning in. Thank you for coming to this show. You're always welcome. And to those who are listening, take care of yourselves and each other. God bless you. Grace and peace.